Joy and I met in 7th grade. We were good friends all through school, and we didn't start dating until after we graduated from high school. We dated for about 3 years and were married when we were 23.
I was a teacher and we volunteered doing youth group at church. Kids just were always a big part of our life, and we always thought we'd have a big family.
Certainly there were some roadblocks that we were gonna face because of my medical history. I'd had Hodgkin's disease once I graduated from high school, had radiation treatments. Then 2 years later, I had cancer again and had chemotherapy treatments, and because of that, we knew that we were gonna have a difficult time having biological children.
Over 6.5 years, we tried to have kids together, and it didn't work. And then we started thinking about adoption.
EJ is our oldest daughter. She's adopted. She is the person that fulfilled that desire in our hearts to have our own family. We had to wait a year before we could sign up for another adoption, which we did. And about 6 months into that wait, we got a phone call that we'd been picked again. About 30 minutes after we got the phone call, Jace was born.
I was living the typical college lifestyle, and I lived every day, to the fullest, and I never put in perspective of anything negative affecting that. I didn't want to admit it to myself because something like this couldn't happen to me. I just couldn't believe it for myself. I felt like I knew I was pregnant, but I denied it so much that I made myself believe that, no, I'm not. With the denial, I almost feel like it helped me completely weed out the option of an abortion. Then my other two options were adoption and, keeping and raising the baby. When I was putting that in perspective, I have grown up in the lifestyle where I've had a great family life. My parents have been together for 30-some years, and I've always envisioned that for myself when I have children, that I want to be with someone for the rest of my life, and I don't want to be having to switch that baby from this house to this house to that house, depending on if I'm not with this person for the rest of my life. I'm very mature, I'm very independent, and I know financially, emotionally, I probably could have, raised the baby with my parents' help, but when I put myself out of the picture and just did something for the baby and for this child, I knew adoption was the only option, and honestly, it was the best choice I could have ever made. The hospital was by far one of the most emotionally draining experiences I've ever had. I looked at the baby that was inside me when I was pregnant as an object and not as my baby. And so when he was born, not only grow an instant attachment to this child, but you realize that this is a person, this is, part of who you are.
Walked in the room and we gave her a hug, and it was just a really special time.
When I met them, had this aura about them. It's almost like an angelic, they just make you feel warm and comforted. And I saw them, we all start, crying, and it fit. They were meant to be parents, and I was just blessed to have them come into my life.
We just decided Jace is gonna live with us for forever.
Oh, Jace, what do you think about that, buddy? Are you gonna live with Mommy and Daddy forever? Yeah.
We always say, besides Jesus Christ dying on the cross for us, our birth moms have given us something that we could never have, and it's just a gift.
Hi, Jace. How's our little buddy doing?
She will always be respected, that Jace will know that she loved him and she did this for him.
I don't want people to look down on me and thinking I'm not a strong person for not being able to raise a baby and not being able to, give him the best life he could have. And that does affect me. when I pull myself out of the picture and I have to stop worrying about what people are gonna think of me. And if they're gonna look down on me or judge me, I feel like when I try to be selfless, I just completely focus on the baby, and knowing that he's going to have the best life possible wipes away all the other judgments. I chose adoption for Jace. It wasn't for myself. It was so that Jace could have a better life, and it wasn't so I could have an easier life, or, you know, it just takes the burden off me, because it's the opposite. Like, I still will always live with this, but I chose adoption for Jace so that he could have the best life he could ever possibly imagine.